Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Caritāmrta overview class. Thank you for joining in. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrta and we are discussing Ādī-Līlā. We are on 7th chapter, which is entitled Lord Chaitanya and 5 features. So in this chapter, Kaviraj Goswami describes the 5 features of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. And he describes how there are the predominator tattvas and the bhakta tattvas. And then he describes the reason for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these panch tattva, why they came? Sai panch tattva mili prithvi asiya, purve prema bhandarera mudra ughadiya, pache mili lute prema kore aswadan, yat yat piye Krishna bade anukshan. So they came and broke open the seal of love of God distributed to everyone. That was the purpose of the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other four tattvas, panch tattva. Actually, he wanted to drown everyone in this love. Chaitanya avatare vahe premamrita vanya sabjiva preme bhase. He wanted to drown everyone, but few were running away. Mayavadi, Karmanishta, Kutarkikagan, Nindak, Pashandi, Paduya, Adham. All these people, they were not getting drowned in this river of love. So therefore, Mahaprabhu devised a plan and he accepted sannyas ashram. So when he accepted sannyas ashram, everyone was delivered, but one class of people were still not following, still not accepted Mahaprabhu, and that was Mayavadis. Karmanishta, fruitive workers, they surrendered. Logicians, they surrendered. Those who are blasphemers, they also surrendered. Everybody surrendered apart from these Mayavadis. So after taking sannyas, Mahaprabhu, he was going to Vrindavan, and on the way he passed through Varanasi where Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra were staying. There he heard that all the sannyasis, they are criticizing, oh, he's just a bhavuk sannyasi, bhavukera sannyasi. Kirtan, he's just dancing and singing like a sentimentalist. But Mahaprabhu, he didn't hear. He went ahead, reached Mathura, went to all the holy places, all the 12 forests of Vrindavan, came back. And on the way, again he passed through. He reached Varanasi. And he was staying at the home of Tapan Mishra, Chandrasekhar Acharya, and taking prasad at the home of Tapan Mishra. So both of them, they said, oh, we are so very sad because we are hearing your criticism every day. And as they were telling, a Brahmana came and he extended his invitation. He said, I have invited all the sannyasis and I know you don't associate with them, but still please come. So Mahaprabhu, he wanted to deliver all the Mayavadis. So he went, he accepted the invitation and he went to this Brahmana's place. All big sannyasis were sitting headed by Prakashanand Saraswati. Mahaprabhu entered and he washed his feet, sat at the same place and he exhibited his effulgence, Brahman effulgence. All the Mayavadis, because they are into all this Brahman. So they got attracted by the Brahman, the effulgence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prakashanand Saraswati himself got up and he asked, he caught hold of Mahaprabhu by his hand, brought him and made him sit in the proper place. And he asked, why are you behaving like a sentimentalist? Why don't you associate with us? You are such a glorious person. You are in a family of Keshav Bharati. You took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. So that's how he was asking, please tell me. So Mahaprabhu, he described the glories of the holy names. He said, oh, my guru, he considered me a fool and he ordered me to chant. That's why I'm doing it. And then he says, Mahaprabhu, my spiritual master told me, Kali Nama Vinu Kali Kale Nahi Ara Dharma Sarva Mantra Saranam Ei Shastra Marma. Sarva Mantra Saranam. The essence of all the mantras is the holy name. So that's what he described. So therefore, in this, Prabhupada writes an elaborate purport in this 74th verse, describing that, and there are so many processes in various ages. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam yajato Makhai, Dwapare Paricharyayam, Kalautad Hari Kirtanat. Chanting of the holy names is the only means by which one can get delivered in this Kali Yuga. Prabhupada writes, people in Kali Yuga, they reject this Shrauta Parampara. He uses the word Shrauta Parampara. Shrauta Parampara means the disciplic succession. You hear from your spiritual master, you become a learned person, you also teach somebody. But people in the world, they are prepared to argue over everything. They don't understand that the holy names are not different than the Supreme Lord. Then after this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told that, my spiritual master, he taught me another verse. And the famous verse, which we know, Harirnam, Harirnam, Harirnam eva kevalam kalau nasteva 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 gatiranyata. So Ishwara Puri, he told this mantra, this verse to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Harirnam. In this verse, 8 times the emphasis is given that only holy name can deliver one. Harirnam, 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 Eva, Kevalam, 5 times here only. Kalau Nastieva, 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 Nasti, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Eva Kevalam, this is the only thing. So such a great emphasis is given on chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And Prabhupada, he writes that this is the only thing which is of value in this Kali Yuga. Otherwise, Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Kalera dosha nidhi rajan astihi eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajit. Just by taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord, one can get delivered. That is the power of chanting. And Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he quotes from various scriptures emphasizing and glorifying the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna mantra. Because many times people question, from where this Hare Krishna mantra has come? So Prabhupada quotes this Narad Pancharatra, quotes the verse. Trayo Veda Shadangani Chandamsi Vividhasura Sarvam Ashtaksharantastam Yachanyadapi Vangmayam Sarva Vedanta Sarartham Samsararnavataranaha. So in this verse, it is described that this is from Narad Pancharatra. The essence of all Vedic knowledge, which is Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, Upasana Kand, and all these other types of chanting of the Vedic hymns, Chanda, all these various things which are mentioned in the Vedas. The essence of all the Vedic hymns is included in this 8 syllable of Hare Krishna mantra. There's a way in which you can, if we split this Hare Krishna into syllables, it becomes 8 syllables. Hare Krishna. So he says, this is the reality of all Vedanta. And what is the power of this mantra? Samsara Arnava. This Samsara Arnava, this ocean of material existence, Tarana. One can cross this ocean of material existence very quickly, very easily. As Bhagavatam describes, the entire ocean becomes like the water in the hoof print of a calf. Samashritaye padpallavam mahatpadam punya yasho murari bhavambudirvatsa padam param padam 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 yata vipadam natesham. Samashrita, anybody who takes shelter of the holy of the lotus feet of the Lord, by hearing, by chanting, by glorifying the form of the Lord. Mahatpadam is the most auspicious. Punya Yasho Murari, anybody who hears the glories of Murari, what happens? Bhavam Buddhi, this Samsara Arnava, Bhavam Buddhi, Vatsapadam, it becomes like a water in the hoofprint of a calf. So the more we hear, the more we will remember it. We don't hear anything new in our classes, right? Whatever we have heard since day one of Krishna consciousness, here and there, sometimes little bit we hear some new information, but most of the information remains the same. If you hear Prabhupada's lectures, the information remains the same. Prabhupada quotes same verses hundreds of times. In fact, in the books also, Prabhupada has written the same thing hundreds of times. Oh, you are not this body, you are soul. Living entity is always absorbed in sense gratification. And you think, itna gali de rahe, from beginning to end, Prabhupada is giving all bad words. Oh my God. So one disciple came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, why are you always repeating the same thing? You are not this body, you are soul, you should not do sense gratification. Prabhupada said, still you are not understanding. Still devotees are not understanding. Still people think, no. Some way I can enjoy. Itna bhi bura nahi hai. The picture which the scriptures are portraying, they are too pessimistic. This world is not that bad. And that's how mind convinces us. Oh, is dunya mein sukh hai. Why scriptures are always against sense gratification, sense gratification. You should not do sense gratification. This body is meant for tapasya, nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Out of madness only people are doing sense gratification. Sometimes people think, why such negativity? Because since so many lifetimes we have tried to enjoy and we have not become successful. And the material nature is such a wonderful, jailer. The Maya Devi is such a wonderful jailer. She has made a jail with no walls. But the interesting thing is, nobody wants to run out of this jail. The shackle, invisible shackle of material desires are so powerful that material energy, doesn't have to do anything. She's just looking peacefully because she doesn't have to work hard. Katham priyaya anukampitaya sangam rahasyam ruchiram shamantran suhritsu tatne hashita shishunam kalaksharanam anurakta chittaha. The life of a Grihamedi is described. A person is attached to the family, wife, children. The broken words of children become so attractive. All this is the shackle. Bhagavatam says these are the shackles. So therefore, to come out of this shackle, we need really strong, treatment. Somebody has to get a very powerful axe to cut off this shackles of material existence. That's why Devahuti, she's telling Kapila Dev that you are like Kuthara. Samsara taro Kutharam. You are like that axe which can break and cut off this, material existence. So therefore, this holy name of the Lord, it is the most powerful, which can, cut off our material existence. Samsara aranavat taranam. Samsara ocean one can cross easily. The verse comes in Kali Santaran Upanishad also. Iti shodashaka nam Kali kalmashanashanam natah partaropaya sarva vedeshu drishyate. There is no other way. Even if you search all the Vedic scriptures, you will not find anything better than this process. So why not take it seriously? And it works. So many great devotees, they have shown by their example. It works. The process works. Of course, it will take time. But the more we are serious, the more we are sincere, the more we invest our consciousness in hearing the holy names of the Lord by humble, submissive attitude, praying to the holy name, praying to Harinam Prabhu that please show mercy. I want to taste the nectar which is there in you. All the great devotees, they are telling, oh, what is the nectar I want to taste? I want millions of years. One devotee was telling, I also want millions of hands to chant so that jaldi jaldi ho jaye mala. I want millions of years, millions of tongues. All will chant, but jaldi ho jaye. No, that is not the purpose of millions of tongues. Want to chant more, want to hear more. Because there is some nectar which is there in the holy names. It is there somewhere, Actually, it is all nectar, but we are not able to understand. It is like a person who is suffering from jaundice cannot taste sugarcane juice. That's why Rupa Goswami says, Kintu adarat anudinam. If you take to this process seriously, with respect, anudinam, regularly, swadvi kramad bhavati. In due course of time, taste will come. Sat Krishna nama charitapi sitapya vidya pittopataptara sanasya narochikano kintvadaradanudilam khalu saiva jushta swadvi kramad bhavati tadgadamula hantri. Slowly the taste will arise in the heart. That's why scriptures again and again describe the glories of the holy name. Prabhupada quotes Madhvacharya also, who is quoting from Mundaka Upanishad. And there also he tells, in Dwapar Yuga, one could satisfy Lord Vishnu by worshipping him. But in Kali Yuga, the Lord can be satisfied simply by chanting the holy names. There are so many quotations. All these big acharyas, they are giving all these quotations so that we can understand. So that our suspicious mind can accept it. Okay, so many people are saying there must be something. Prabhupada writes, chanting the holy names. Very beautiful line Prabhupada writes in this. Chanting the holy name of the Lord immediately renovates our transcendental relationship with Supreme Lord. Renovates. It was, broken. As soon as we start chanting, immediately it renovates. It doesn't take time. Sadhya shuddhyate ridya vruddhate atra kritibhi. Sadhya. Immediately the relationship is established. Sadhyo ridya varudhyate. Immediately, as soon as the holy name enters the heart, purifies the hearts. So that is the power of holy name. Bhagavatam describes that this is the only thing which beautifies the world, purifies the world, and animates the world. Yasya khilami vahabi sumangalai vacho vimishra gunakarma janmabhi Prananti Shumbhanti Punanti Vai Jagat Yasta Dvirakta Shavashobhanamati. This is the only thing which purifies, beautifies, and animates. Otherwise, all the other topics of the world, they are like the decoration of a dead body. Shava Shobhana. Nobody decorates a dead body. But some people, they decorate very lavishly. What is the use of that decoration? Then Prabhupada writes, some people question, why when the Yug Dharma is chanting, what is the need of deity worship? People question. Oh, if Yug Dharma is chanting, then why we have to spend so much of the time and energy in deity worship? Our process is Bhagavat Vidhi. What is the use of Pancharatra Vidhi? The answer is, Prabhupada gives, yes, it is true. One who fully engages in chanting of the holy names of the Lord, there is no other need of anything. He does not have to depend on anything else. But generally, when the person is starting the process of devotional service, he is a sadhaka. He is addicted to so many sinful things. He has so many anarthas, conditionings. In that situation, the deity worship is the most easy way to connect ourselves to Krishna. Prabhupada writes, it is a quick relief. Therefore, it is recommended that all the devotees should worship deities. It is very, very important. Deity worship is the most important thing for a sadhaka, apart from chanting. Because that's how we can relate to Krishna. When we dress Krishna, when we bathe Krishna, feed Krishna, we develop a personal relationship with Krishna, which is very, very essential at our level. Therefore, it is recommended that all the neophyte devotees, all the beginners, they should take deep interest in worship of the deities. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking to Prakashananda Saraswati, and he's saying, oh, because my spiritual master, he has ordered me, so I am chanting the holy names. I am always chanting. But you know what happened when I started chanting? I became bewildered. Constantly I am chanting. Just see. That is a ideal disciple, Prabhupada writes. Ideal disciple means he never ever disobeys the instructions of Guru. He obeys the instructions as it is. Yagya paya nam laya nukshan nam laite nam laite nam laite bhranta hoila man. Nam laite mora bhranta hoila man. As soon as I started chanting, I became bewildered. So we also, in the beginning stages of our Krishna consciousness, we also become bewildered. Kab tak karna hai? Abhi tak khatam nahi hua. Our ecstasy is when the 16th Sakshimani comes down. That is our ecstasy. Ho gaya. Oof, khatam ho gaya. That is our bewilderment. Kab se kar raha hu, mala khatam hi nahi ho raha hai. That's how many new devotees, they tell like that. रोज एक माला करने में 15 मिनट लगता है, आधा घंटा लगता है. Because the mind is so restless, they can't focus. But here, the situation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely different. Nama laite mora bhranta hoila man. He became so absorbed in chanting, not because of distraction, he became absorbed. Nama laite. And then what happened? Says, while I was chanting, I actually lost myself. I started dancing, chanting, singing, crying like a madman. That was the experience of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Prabhupada writes that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hints in this verse, in the 79th verse, that if somebody is chanting the holy names of the Lord, there is no need to speculate on the philosophical aspects of the meaning of the holy name, science of God. It is so very wonderful. that one automatically gets surcharged with emotions. Anybody can experience this. Yesterday only, if somebody sent a very, very heart-touching video, and three small, children, small girls, maybe around 7, 8 years old, they are singing some Malayalam song glorifying Krishna in different occasions. This was some talent show going on, and they were singing this glorification of Krishna. And as the song went to a crescendo, all of them, they choked up with emotions. They started crying spontaneously, and it is happening at different locations. And one of them was a Muslim girl. It was nothing to do with Krishna. She's just chanting the names of Krishna, and then she was choked. Everybody, all three of them were choked. That is the power of holiness. When you chant with a sincere, innocent heart, Naam laite laite mora bhranta hoila man. One becomes bewildered, ecstatic, sings, dances, and becomes mad. That was happened. That's what Rupa Goswami writes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Chhaya ratiyabhas and pratibimb ratiyabhas. Sometimes people who have nothing to do with devotion, when they come in touch with some powerful, force of Krishna consciousness or devotion, they also experience ecstatic symptoms. It is known thing. Some person coming to temple and all of a sudden seeing the deity and starts crying. What is that? The bhava, the emotion which is there in the heart of the pure devotee get reflected in the heart of this person, because that person is sincere and innocent. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, there is no need to speculate. Oh, how this holy name will give me love of God? How will I cry? Should I cry now or when should I cry? People ask, what should we do when we chant? Should we meditate on the holy names? Should we keep from one photo of Krishna and a lotus feet and Radha Rani when we should meditate on the form? What should we do? Prabhupada said nothing. Just chant and hear. That's all. Only tongue and ear, two senses are involved. That's all. There is no need for philosophical speculation on the signs of God. How the ecstasy will come? No, it will come. It will come automatically without any consideration. So all these young small kids, they spontaneously started crying, and they were bewildered. Why I'm crying? It was as if the pastime comes in Caitanya Caritāmrta. Mahaprabhu, out of his ecstasy, he went to ocean, and he became unconscious. And one fisherman, he had thrown his net and he caught Mahaprabhu in his net. As soon as they touched the body of Mahaprabhu, he started feeling ecstatic symptoms. And he became bewildered, he became fearful. What is happening to me? That is what is the effect of holy names. Without any consideration, Prabhupada writes, immediately one chants, dances, laughs, cries, sings like a madman. That is what we are hankering for, to become like that. Kabe navadvipe suradhoni tate gaura nityananda boli nishkapate nachiya gaiya berai bo chote batuler pray chadiya vichar kabe have bolo se dinama. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur praying. When will that day be mine, when I'll chant and dance and sing like a madman on the bank of Ganga? When will I preach this message of Krishna consciousness? That is possible if we are sincere, if we are innocent, if we are consistent. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was bewildered, and he's telling to Prakashana Saraswati, I saw that I had become mad by chanting of the holy name. I sincerely submitted to my spiritual master. So this is a very, very interesting thing. Prabhupada writes a very, very beautiful purport there. Whenever there is doubt regarding any aspect of Krishna consciousness, one should refer to the spiritual master. Even if somebody is liberated, even then, he should consult to the spiritual master. Parikshit Maharaj, he was liberated soul. He was born in the family of Krishna, Pandavas. He was playing with dolls of Krishna. That is what is mentioned in Bhagavatam. When his mother would call, he would not go. So he was already a liberated soul. So when he came to know that, oh, he's cursed to die in 7 days, he renounced everything, Atma Jaya, Suta Agar, Pashu Dravan, Bandhu Rajya, everything he gave up, which are so difficult to give. And he went and sat on the bank of Ganga, decided to fast till death. Now the interesting thing happens. All the big sages, who is who of the universe came there. Narada, Vashishta, Vyasa, Angira, Bhardwaj, Atri, Kanva, you name it, Parshuram, and they were there. So Parikshit Maharaj had already decided, but when he saw these sages coming, he submitted his convictions in front of all these great personalities for their approval. So our convictions should be approved from the authorities. Should be approved. We should submit. We should never think I am qualified enough, I am intelligent enough, I can take my decisions on my own, I don't need anyone else. No. Even though we are pure, even though somebody is liberated, he is also going to a spiritual master. Even Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself going to a spiritual master. Who are we to claim that I don't need anyone, I don't want to go to anyone to ask? Even in the liberated state, we should never think that, oh, I have become independent, I don't need spiritual master. Ishwar, Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Ishwarapuri and asking, telling that I am getting ecstatic symptoms. What is this? And then he tells the famous verse, Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tara bal, japite japite mantra korila pagal. Oh Gosai, oh my dear Lord, what type of mantra you have given me? Kiba mantra dila, kya mantra diya hai? Kiba tara bal, what is the power of this mantra? No, since I have started chanting Japite Japite mantra Karila Pagal, I have simply become mad chanting this Mahamantra. And says, this chanting, it is so very amazing. It is making me dance. I didn't want to dance, but still it is making me dance. That is the power. One automatically starts dancing. When somebody is so happy, automatically starts dancing, right? One, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are various rasas which are described. Hasya ras. Hasya is one of the secondary rasas. When people, they have little bit of the smile, is called hasita. Ati hasita. There are various gradations of laughter. Avahasita, ati hasita. And when somebody is so very happy, he starts slapping his thighs and jumping up and down and starts dancing. So when somebody is so happy, automatically he likes to jump and dance. So that is what happens when one experiences the rasa which is there in holy names. But our condition is Durdaya Midrishmiha Janina Anuraga. We are not developing any taste. That is our unfortunate condition. But there is something, which is there. And the more we try, the more we will get purified. So therefore, Mahaprabhu is saying, when I chant, it causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. I don't want it, but still it is happening. So Prabhupada writes, So when Mahaprabhu said this, Ishwar Puri smiled. He was satisfied. Prabhupada writes, whenever a spiritual master sees his disciple progressing in spiritual life, he's so very happy. He smiles in ecstasy, Prabhupada writes, thinking that how successful my disciple has become. That is the greatest ecstasy of the spiritual master. Just like a father, when father sees small child trying to get up, it gives such a joy. The child is struggling to get up, struggling to just is throwing his hands, is throwing his legs, trying to get up, trying to turn around. That gives such joy to the parents. That is a joy which the spiritual master experiences when he sees the disciples sincerely struggling to come close to Krishna. And then Ishwar Puri says, this is the power of Hare Krishna mantra. Krishna nama mahamantra aita swabhav ei jape taro Krishna upajaye bhav. This is the power of Krishna nama mantra. Ei jape, anyone who chants, anyone, doesn't matter whoever he is. Ei jape tara Krishna upajaye bhav. He develops ecstatic emotions for Krishna. He reaches actually bhava stage, ecstatic emotions. Anybody who chants sincerely, regularly, ei jape, anybody, tara Krishna upajaye bhav, he will develop love of God. So Prabhupada writes, one who chants the Hare Krishna mantra develops bhava, which is the point at which revelation begins. So, till the time we don't reach the stage of bhava, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna will not be revealed. The revelation of Krishna's pastimes happen at the stage of bhava. And then Prabhupada writes, anybody who can do so, he is qualified. Anybody who is chanting offenselessly, he is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So anybody who has such faith in Krishna's holy names. And Srila Prabhupada, he had shown by his personal example. When Prabhupada was taking sannyas, his sannyas guru, he was chanting all the mantras of sannyas, and so many other rituals were going on, and Akinchan Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj was there. And everybody knows that he was such a great devotee. He had such faith in holy names. Whole day he would chant. Nobody had seen him sleeping. Whole day he would be chanting. So he was there, and this Bhakti Pragyana Keshav Maharaj, who gave sannyas to Prabhupada, he was telling, please chant softly. Let us chant our mantras. And as he would become busy in chanting, Prabhupada would tell them, sing more, chant more, chant loudly. So that was the faith Prabhupada had. Even when Krishna Balram Mandir was being inaugurated, Prabhupada called all the nearby priests and Goswamis, and he told all the disciples, we are opening this temple in a grand Vedic way, and all the chanting will be going on, various mantras will be going on, but you should understand the most important thing is chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So please keep on chanting. We know from the life of Prabhupada that one time Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he was talking to one of the very, very senior disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And he was telling that, you also went to London, and Babaji and Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he also went to London. Why you didn't become successful? Why he became successful, And then he answered himself. He said, because he had faith in holy names. So to the extent we have faith in holy names, to that extent we'll see miracles happening in our lives. So Srila Prabhupada writes that, sometimes when our students of Krishna consciousness movement, they chant and dance, people are astonished. How come these Western people are taking to this process so seriously? And Prabhupada writes that actually this is not happening by practice. It is not that they are practiced to dance and sing and being in ecstasy. No, it is naturally coming. All these emotions, they naturally manifest in devotee who is sincere. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. A person who has faith in holy names, he can transform the world. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that this holy name, it is called as Maha Mantra. It is not an ordinary mantra. It is Maha Mantra. All the other mantras which are mentioned, they are normal mantras, but this is Maha Mantra. Because this mantra is only having the holy names of Lord. And this mantra is enough to take one back to spiritual world. So therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling to Prakashananda Saraswati that, oh, my spiritual master told me to chant. So when I chanted, I started developing all the ecstatic symptoms, and I went to my spiritual master and told him. And my spiritual master was very happy. And then Mahaprabhu speaks a very wonderful verse. So Ishwarpur is telling to Mahaprabhu, Krishna Vishayak Prema Parama Purushartha Yar Age Trinatulya Chari Purushartha. Krishna Vishayak Prema. The Krishna Vishaya, love of God, Prem, love of Supreme Lord Krishna, is Panchama Purushartha. It is the fifth goal. And in front of this, Yar Age, all the Chari Purushartha, all the other Purushartha, they are like the straw. Trinatulya Chari Purushartha. So in front of Prema, Prema Pumarto Mahan, all the other Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, they are like insignificant. That's why Bhagavatam in the beginning only rejects all these other type of religion. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo niramatsaranam satam. Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. Dharma pra-ujjita prakrishta rupena ujjita, completely uprooted. So therefore, in front of prema, in front of love of Krishna, Dharma, Artha, Kam, they are insignificant. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, give up all other types of religion and just surrender unto me. That's the best thing. That's the best thing to do. And therefore, Prabhupada writes that this love of God is the original function of the spirit soul. Therefore, it is called Sanatan Dharma. The only Sanatan Dharma is to love Krishna. And therefore, Prabhupada writes, unless one revives his original constitutional position, he is not perfectly situated. And anyone who develops this Panchama Purushartha Premanandamrita Sindhu, Mokshadi Ananda Yaranahe Eka Bindu. Panchama Purushartha, the Ananda one gets by this Panchama Purushartha. Brahmanand is insignificant in front of him. And that's what Rupa Goswami also tells in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Oh, it is, even if you multiply Brahmanand by millions of times, it will not be even equal to a particle of happiness of bhakti. That is the swabhav of love. And what is the prema swabhav? Kaviraj Goswami describes in detail. What is that prema swabhav? Anyone who develops love of God, he becomes more and more greedy. He's not satisfied. Oh, bas ho gaya, I have loved Krishna enough. No, he becomes more and more and more greedy. Just like a person who is addicted to alcohol, the more he drinks, the more he wants to drink. The more one becomes addicted to Krishna, the more he wants to hear the name, form, pastimes of Krishna. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, who is a spiritual master? Spiritual master is one who is addicted to Krishna. So we have to become addicted to Krishna. Nyasta kriyanako balo jadvattan manastaya Krishna graha grihitatma naveda jagadidrisham. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he was like mad child. He was not interested in playing, he was not interested in eating, he was not interested in anything apart from Krishna. Nyasta kriyanaka bala jadvat, he was like behaving like a mad child. And how it was? Why it was? Krishna graha grihitatma. He was obsessed by Krishna planet. So that is the power of Krishna prema. Premara swabhav bhakta hase kande gaye unmatto hayya nache iti uti dhai. Anybody who develops love of God, hase, sometimes he laughs, sometimes he cries, sometimes sings. Prema unmatta nache, sometimes he dances. Ityuti dhai, sometimes runs here and there like a madman. That's the power. He does not know what is happening to him. That was happening to Prahlad. Sometimes he would cry, sometimes he would sing, sometimes he would be sad. Shved kampa romancha ashru gadgad vaivarnya unmad vishad garva harsha dainya eta bhave prema bhakta gunera nachaye premera anandamrita sagare bhasai. He develops all these ecstatic emotions. Swed, sometimes he starts perspiring, trembling, kampa, romanch, hair standing on end, ashru, crying tears. Swed, kampa, romanch, ashru, gadgad, sometimes he cannot even speak, his voice chokes up, falters. Sometimes he becomes pale. Sometimes when people they experience intense emotions, they become pale. Unmad, sometimes mad, dhairya. Sometimes he's like very grave, sometimes joyful, sometimes humble. All these emotions this person experiences. Eta bhave prema bhakta gunera nachaye. And under the influence of all these emotions, sometimes the devotee dances. Premera anandamrit sagare bhasai. And he's drowned in the ocean of happiness. So that is the power of this prema. Premara swabhav. This is the swabhav of prema. Prabhupada writes, sometimes a person, he starts developing such symptoms. And at the same time, sometimes he's not well behaved. Seems like he's not well behaved. But if a person is not well behaved and at the same time showing these emotions, that means he has not achieved perfection. Prabhupada is very clear. A devotee is never, he never misbehaves. When Prabhupada was asked, how do you define your disciples? What did Prabhupada say? He said, my devotees are perfect ladies and gentlemen. So Prabhupada writes, if a person is not well behaved, he has not achieved perfection. A devotee can never behave in a wrong way. If he is doing that, that means he has not achieved perfection of life. He has not become purified of the ashas. Prabhupada writes, Ashaya Shuddhi, his existence is not completely purified. Ashaya Shuddhi. So therefore, coming to Krishna consciousness is no excuse. Oh, I have come to Krishna consciousness. Why should I behave properly with my relatives or my friends? So they are non-devotees. No, devotees, perfect lady and gentlemen. That's what is described by Shadu Goswamis. They were, dear to gentle and ruffians also. Either great souls or demoniac people. Both were loving these Goswamis. That is a devotee. Everybody is everybody is loved. He is loved by everyone. There is no one who hates this devotee. So that's how Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita also, a devotee should develop all the wonderful qualities. And when Ishwar Puri, he is describing this, he says, Bhalo haila paile tumi parama purushartha, tomara premete ami hailu kritartha. Now again, one wonderful quality of Ishwar Puri is coming out here. He is speaking such a wonderful thing. He says, Bhalo haila, it is so very good that you have achieved the perfection of your life. Parama purushartha. And then the next line he speaks is amazing. He says, Tomara premete ami kapailu haila kritartha. He says, I am so very obliged to you. Why he is obliged? That's the mood of humility. So Prabhupada would tell that if any of my disciples, even if one of my disciples become pure devotee, there is some hope for me also. That is the mood of a pure devotee. He never thinks I have come to deliver this world. They are always so humble. They are just there to serve others, bring them close to Krishna. And they think if they become pure, then I have some hope. Because I am personally so very sinful. I am full of anarthas. That is the mood of a pure devotee. So Prabhupada is quoting Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says, even at the expense of all the properties, temples, matha, if I could convert even one person into a pure devotee, my mission will be fulfilled. That's what Prabhupada would tell also many times. Even if one person becomes pure, my mission is successful. I have made this entire Krishna consciousness movement just to make one pure devotee. That's what Prabhupada would tell. And just see, by the power of Prabhupada, he created many, many pure devotees. That is the power of Supreme Lord. So Saraswati Thakur also telling like this. So he says, therefore, if by grace of Lord Chaitanya and spiritual master, a disciple attains the standard of pure devotional service, spiritual master is very happy. He is very happy because he is so very humble. He thinks, oh, I am no one. If my disciple becomes pure, then I have some hope. Then Ishwar Puri gives him instructions. First he glorifies him, pacifies him, says, Nach gao bhakta sangha karo sankirtan, Krishna naam upadeshi tara sarvajan. You sing, nach, gao, sing, dance, bhakta sanghe kara sankirtan. You be in association of devotees and you do sankirtan. And one more thing you should do. Krishna naam upadeshi tara sarvajan. Please preach this message of Krishna and deliver the entire world. So this is the Prabhupada writes, this is another ambition of spiritual master. So Prabhupada is revealing his heart here. That is what he expects from every one of us. First, you become pure and then preach this message to others. Nach, gao, sing, dance. Nach, gao, bhakta sangha, karo sankirtan. Krishna nama upadeshi tara sarvajan. You sing, you dance, you experience the joy of Krishna consciousness in association of devotees and deliver the entire world also. Krishna Nam Upadesh, preach this message. So this is the second ambition of spiritual master. Every spiritual master, every pure devotee wants that the disciple should perfect their life and help others. There are two types of devotees, Goshthanandi and Bhajananandi. Bhajananandi means they are absorbed and they are satisfied with their own bhajan. But we are Goshthanandis. We are there to preach this message. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says, oh my Lord, I'm not concerned about myself. Because I know I am absorbed in chanting your holy names of the Lord, chanting your holy names of my Lord. So therefore, for sure, I'll be liberated. I am concerned about the people of this age who are so very engrossed in sense gratification. Naivo dvije paraduratya Duratyaya Vaitaranya Tvad Virya Mahamritamagna Triptaha Shoche Tato Vimukacheta Saindriyartha Maya Sukhaya Bharamudvahato Vimudhan Naivodvij. I am not so much anxious about my own liberation. Paraduratya Vaitaranya. I am not thinking how will I cross this Vaitarana, because Tvadavirya Gayana Mahamritamagna Tripta. I am absorbed in chanting your name, form, hearing your pastime, chanting your glories. Shoche, I am lamenting for one thing. Shoche tato vimukha chetasa. Oh, there are so many living entities in this world who are away from your lotus feet. You have turned their face away from you, my Lord. Shoche tato vimukha chetasa indriyarthe maya sukhaya. They want sense gratification. They are fool. Maya sukhaya bharam udvato vimudan. They are so very disturbed, trying to fulfill their sense gratificatory desire. They are suffering so much. So a devotee is not just concerned about himself. He is concerned about everyone else. Because he knows, because I am chanting, I am hearing the pastimes, for sure I'll be liberated. That is a faith that pure devotee has. That is called Asha Bandha. I may be fallen, but I have faith in Krishna's mercy. Because I am endeavoring to the best of my capacity, I have faith Krishna will show mercy. So he's not so much disturbed. He is disturbed seeing the fallen condition of the people of Kali Yuga. Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. He tells, those who are not advanced, they want to make a show of devotion and they prefer to stay in a solitary place where they can, do all illicit things. They want to cheat the public. So therefore, one should never imitate these sahajiyas. One should endeavor to preach this cult of Krishna consciousness, even if you are an introvert person. Some people say, Prabhuji, mujhe na baat karna अच्छा लगता है. I will chant, I will practice my bhakti, but वो बोलना मुझे जमता नहीं. Even if you are an introvert, it is a service to preach. That's what pleases Krishna. So therefore, Prabhupada says, whatever capacity you have, use in Krishna's service. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayanjatah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. That's called Yukta Vairagya. Everything is coming from Krishna. Everything is property of Krishna. Everything should be used in service of Krishna. And after describing all this, Mahaprabhu says, then my spiritual master, he taught me one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. And that verse is 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 40th verse. Evam vrata swa priyanama kirtya jata nurago drita chitta uchchaihi hasatyatharo datirauti gayan unmadvanrityati loka bahya. Evam vrata. Anybody who becomes actually advanced, Priya Nama Kirti, and he takes pleasure in chanting of the holy names of the Lord, you know what happens to him? Jatanurago, he develops attachment to my name, form, pastimes. Druta Chitta Uchchai, he becomes so dear to me, and the holy names become dear to him. He's agitated. Uchchai, sometimes he chants loudly, sometimes he hasai. Hasati, sometimes he laughs loudly. Raudati, sometimes cries. Gayati, sometimes sings. Sometimes he behaves like a madman. He doesn't care for others. That's how devotees, they experience when they are dancing in kirtan. They don't feel, ye kaun dekh raha hai, mujhe ye dekh raha hai kya, what people will say, Arey, I am dancing like this. They are absorbed in dancing. So that is what happened to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that's what he is telling to all this to Prakashananda Saraswati. So we'll stop here. We'll continue next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Anybody has any questions? you have, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Okay, so there are no questions, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.